So let's move on to the other coach, the other number one, what I would consider the A plus hire. And the reason I say A plus, when I was in 5th grade, story time with Kenny.
Let me get a drink.
My folks, yeah, you might want to. My folks moved us to Ohio for a temporary period of time because an old friend from the church that we went to when I was a wee lad was building a new church, and they wanted my dad come and supervise the building of the new church, all that good stuff. Well, right before we went to Ohio, you remember those aptitude tests you had to take at school where you had to fill in the circles completely and all that kind of shit? And I hated those. I was good at them, but I hated those. And this year, that was the year I rebelled. I didn't answer a damn question. I just made patterns on the sheet when I filled them all in. So when I got to Ohio, they had my test scores and they put me in remedial math, which, 2 plus 2, 4 plus 6, that kind of stuff. You might have a double digit or two. So the point is, for the first 3 months for the first month I was at that school, I got A plus pluses on all my papers because I never missed anything. So the reason I mention that is because I think Scott Frost, in these first 2 hires of Whipple being an extremely experienced coach, Mickey Joseph being an extremely hard coach on his wide receivers, is literally Scott Frost placing himself into remedial coaching because he needs guys to teach him what it looks like to be a Power 5 coach, guys that have done it at the highest level in Power 5. So for me, as wide receiver coach and pass coordinator, I give Mickey Joseph an A++. Nobody did it better, especially in that 2019 season. I get it. He had Joe Brady. He had all those guys. Yeah, hi. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Large ones, too, by the way. Really, really large ones.
Girthy ones with the veins and the.
I was 10. I don't think I knew how to draw much of anything except.
There's damn sure wasn't any hair on them when you drew them.
Yeah, it was naked. Wow, this has gone way off the rails.
I'm so sorry. I just couldn't resist.
That one's pretty funny. I got to admit.
A recording podcast. If you guys are curious what exactly happened there, I highlighted on the live stream that my dad just drew dicks on his test. So
yeah, well,
just context.
That was fun. Thank you for audio listeners. It's probably going to be edited so that you don't even have to hear that because we're classy here. But I gave him an A+ as a recruiter and an A+ as a developer. Mickey is as good as they get. You don't take a 3-star wide receiver that not too many teams in the SEC wanted and turn him into a first-round pick unless you're really good at what you do. I love his philosophy. He says, and I think he probably follows through on what our last couple of wide receiver coaches said, which was players have to earn their time on the field. The previous coaches did say that, but it seemed like they never developed them or got them to perform consistently enough to see them on the field when we really needed them. Like, I don't know, Xavier Betts and Omar Manning and some of those key moments last year. And Joseph, I love this. He calls lazy players who think they're just going to turn it on game day 2x4s. They're good enough to win you 2, but they're lazy enough to lose you 4. So that's kind of where I'm at with Mickey. I think he's absolutely an A++ hire. And I think he's going to work really, really well with Whipple, especially as good as he is at developing receivers. I'm going to start with you, Tyler. What do you think of Mickey Joseph? What did you guys come up with on your show?
Yeah, I mean, I am in line. I gave him an A. Yeah, I mean, this guy, everything you said is true. I mean, this was the obvious choice of anyone when you saw this go out. I mean, this was a message board hire. Like, this is one that fans, the second we were going after a wide receiver coach, we knew this is a guy we wanted. Frost went out and got him. There is no, I really don't have much more to add to what you said. I mean, he is a great hire, and he showed it right away on the recruiting trail. This has been a very, very slow recruiting cycle, in my opinion. And the fact is, like, he went out there and right away got us into some really fun houses and got us in a position to make this maybe a little bit more of an exciting last couple weeks of signing period.
All righty. Sounds good. How about you, Scott? Where are you at with Mickey? Oops.
I think it's a damn good hire, to be honest. I love his demeanor. I love the way he presents himself, which I guess is demeanor. And just seems like an upstanding guy. He's 53 years old. He has over 20 years of coaching experience, as well as 4 years as a quarterback at Nebraska, of course. So you got some of that alum kind of cred. I just look at it at just this specific stat line when we're looking at the receivers that we have on our team right now and potential recruits that we could get. Joseph was responsible for putting the best group of receivers in SEC history on the field in 2019 with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Terrace Marshall, combining for 241 receptions for 3,991 yards between the three of them and 51 touchdowns. Just like, that's just outstanding. He's just like, I love the interviews that he had where, you mentioned the 2x4 kind of comment and that he doesn't want somebody on the starting roster on game day that didn't show up to practice every single week. And I think he can instill discipline in our guys and really tap into their potential and extract it. Whether or not that actually happens, I have no idea. But if I were to guess, I would say he's probably the best candidate to do such a thing. I give him a rating of at best an A+, and at worst just an A-. And I don't even know where the A- would come from other than the fact that he's going to have to show up and play in a different conference and do some different scheming and work with new guys. I mean, first years are always the hardest years. But that's not really indicative of his overall performance. I just think that with this being kind of an ultimatum season for Frost, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure, and we will see how he handles that pressure as the assistant head coach / wide receiving coach. And what was the third credential? Pass game coordinator. I'm just going to give it a straight A+ hire. I'm really excited about Mickey Joseph. And he just looks like a badass dude, if I'm being honest. Oh, all right. Looks like my dad kind of cut out there. So let's see. We have had Justin.
Everybody's cutting out all of a sudden.
No, it was just you.
Yeah.
It was just you. You're back, though.
Sorry, guys.
I hear you. All right. So we've heard from my dad. We've heard from Justin. Correct, right? No, not you.
We've heard from Tyler and you.
My bad.
Yeah,
I was looking up a bunch of
me and Tyler kind of look similar. I mean, I have hair, but
my takes are good. I mean, we're basically the same.
Yeah, same.
My bad. Whoops. All right, so I guess let's hear from Justin then, since I assumed I already heard him.
Well, I'm basically going to echo all you guys. I mean, it's an A. I gave him an A on our podcast. When you look at all the coaches that were going to be hired by Nebraska, there's only one coach that was listed that if he turned it down or we couldn't get him, you'd be bummed out and pissed off about, right? And that was Mickey Joseph.
Right.
All the other candidates out there for OC, running back coach, offensive line, if you didn't get him, it wasn't going to ruin your day. Mickey Joseph would have ruined a lot of people's days if we weren't able to get him, because I think a lot of Husker fans, they just absolutely wanted him for, based off of who he is, his name, what he's done, and him as a coach at LSU. And he's, easy A.
All right. Well, thank you, Justin. Let's hear from the final gentleman here. What do you got to say about it, Derrick?
Well, it's really, you guys have said everything there is to be said, I think. Mickey Joseph was a slam dunk home run hire, however you want to put it. He was the guy you needed to get. He was the guy that I think Frost put the most into getting. He's a good coach, guys. I mean, he's got to prove it still. He can do it in the Big Ten, but if he can do it in the SEC, I have faith he can probably do it in the Big Ten too.
I completely agree with that. Like I said earlier about our offensive coordinator, I think what you really want to find in a coach is somebody who has coaching experience in either the Big Ten or the SEC. I think that's a litmus test for coaching in a league that is of the highest quality. But let's get some pessimistic views. Where would be areas that you guys find might be areas of concern with Mickey Joseph? If there are any, you can honestly say I don't really see any concerns. But if you have one, what would you say? Who wants to go first?
Not me, because I don't see any. I don't think there's any drawbacks from hiring him. I think he's going to be, he's going to be probably the best wide receiver coach that we've had since, was it Rich Fisher? Back Pelini days? He was a pretty good receiver coach. But he's even better than that.
Yeah. I think it was Fisher, wasn't it? Yeah.
Truthfully, he might be the best receiver coach we've ever had. Unless Callahan had a better one, which I don't remember who his receiver coach was.
He had Ted Gilmore, and he was okay. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think Mickey could be the guy that really gets these guys up to the level of their talent says they're at. But they
under Solich and Osborne, it's not like we needed a really good wide receiver coach.
No, we needed mean guys to knock dudes on their asses, which that was Ron Brown. He was really good at that. So, yeah. Well, that gets us done with the two guys that are pretty obvious to be good.